a Canadian author, and this is a video. So today I want to do my May wrap-up. It is currently June 1st. Hopefully you will see this tonight. But I think how I'm going to do this is I'm going to start with my lowest rankings to my highest rankings. You guys know how this works. So this month I read 14 books, which is a lot. It's a lot for me. So of those books, 5 were audiobooks, and then there were 3 poetry collections, and there were 2 that I was working on finishing that had started previously. So we're gonna, you know what, I'm actually just gonna start with audiobooks and then things I was working on previously, because I don't have any of those in my possession currently, and then I will do all the books I actually have last. So for audiobooks, I'm going to start with the order I read them in. So I listened to You're Cute When You're Mad by Celeste Headley, and I gave this 4 stars. I thought it was interesting. Looking back, after reading some of the other things I've read this month, I probably would have rated this lower had I read this last. But I thought it was interesting, and for what it was, if we just hold it to the box that it is, that is looking at the workplace and different things, I think that it's good. I do think there's more productive books of this variety. So 4 stars. And yeah, I have a Scrib account, so that's where I listen to all my audiobooks. Yeah, 4 stars. It's pretty well it. I liked how they didn't just put the onus on women, and how they, you know, pointed out different things. That's it. That's the review. Oh my goodness, sorry. We might do a little COVID test here in a minute. Back. It's like a fun little bonus. It's like, you get to see what I read. You get to know if I have COVID. It's great. It's so fun. Anyway, back to it. Sorry if I sound like crap. Love that for me. Okay, next we have Confess, which I didn't count in my audiobook section, but I read about 80 pages of this physically. I have a physical copy. I gave it 3 stars. It's what I give most romance. I don't like it when sexual assault and rape is used as like a plot device in a book. Like, it's one thing if it's like that type of book that deals with like trauma and whatnot. However, do not appreciate it in, especially if it's like the guy who's in, like, the villain is already so much the villain, like, you didn't need, anyway. I found that unnecessary, but I give most romances 3 stars. They're kind of just a fluff. Well, I read, like, I don't know. They're kind of just, if stuff is not going well, I typically read romance because it's kind of just, it's really a form of escapism for me. Like, I just listen and it's what I do. Like, I'm not even really, I don't find myself getting really invested in romance stories besides, you know, like Red, White, and Royal Blue, One Last Stop. The Love Hypothesis was okay. Different things like that. Most romance gets about 3 stars for me, and yeah, so it was very typical. This is about, I guess I should tell you what the books are about. You're Cute When You're Mad is about confronting sexism. Confess is about Aubrey, and she works for this painter this one night, and they maybe fall in love or some stuff like that. And shenanigans. So much shenanigans. But yes, that's Confess. I listened to mostly on audio while I was baking bread. So I'm unhauling this, by the way, because I don't keep, besides classics, we'll get to it, I don't keep anything that's a 3-star or below. I just unhaul it. So, or a 4-star below. So like guys, it's hard. Okay, give me 3 seconds. I only keep things that are 5 or 4-star. I do not keep 3.5s, 3s, 2s, 1s, all that stuff. So I'm unhauling this. Okay, now The next audiobook I listened to is Effed at Birth, and the subtitle is Rethinking or Recalibrating the American Dream for the 21st Century or something like that, or for the 2020s, something like that. I rated it 4-star. I wasn't really that invested in it through most of it, because I didn't feel like it was actually like delivering on what it said, but as it tied up, it kind of got back to that. And it deals with poverty and different the American dream isn't functional. If it ever was, it definitely isn't now and stuff. And it kind of explores that thing or that topic. And it's about poverty and that sort of thing. And especially how the pandemic has played a part in that. So it was really good. I think it was an audiobook narrator that I wasn't clicking it with, but by the end it was good. So 4 stars, really good, really interesting. I didn't find it super duper impactful, but definitely inherent worth and stuff there. So the next one is Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given. I made a video about this. I did not enjoy this book. I can't get into it. You just have to go watch the video. I gave this 2 stars, yeah. I felt condescending at times. It's supposed to be about pretty privilege. It doesn't actually, it does and it doesn't. It talks about 1,000 different things without actually talking about anything. So that's what I'll say about it. 2-star. Would like my hours back, frankly. Made me genuinely mad. Okay. Now, good news. 2 5-stars for the last of the audiobooks for this month. And that is White Feminism by Beck. This book was amazing. It just really good. It talked about stuff that I knew was an issue, but hadn't really fully explored and thought out and looked into histories of different things that play into problematic parts of activism today and whatnot. Just really good, amazing. I recommended it to my mother. I feel like everyone should listen to it or read it or consume it in whatever way you can. It's very, very good. So I gave that a 5-star. Now, for the last audiobook I listened to this month is The Turnaway Study by Dr. Diana Green Foster, I believe. I got this recommendation from a random TikTok video, of course, when all the Roe v. Wade stuff, I think this is crooked, 1 minute, when all the Roe v. Wade draft opinion came out and whatnot and was leaked, it was a resource that was shared. I cannot stress how important it is to consume this no matter where you land on the abortion debate. I am so, I don't think anyone has any business discussing what a woman does with her body in any regard. So obviously I'm very pro-choice, but there's things that I had believed and that I had biases and stuff about that I learned were not true from this study and whatnot. So obviously it didn't, it's very much still the whole thing is hey guys, it doesn't really matter the outcome, let's trust women with their own bodies or people who have wombs with their own bodies. And which is it wasn't, I liked how it pointed out that when we're talking about abortion, we don't have to talk about extremes. We can talk about, the typical experience of people who are getting abortions. And yeah, it's incredible. The audiobook's really good. It's really accessible. There's also theturnawaystudy.com, I think it is, but there's the actual website with all the research and their published academic papers if you want to read the academic versions of different things. A general public could consume this, the version I listened to, and it was really good, really impactful. Highly recommend. Okay, so next I'm going to do books I read physically but have since let other people borrow or return to them. So we're going to start with A Season in Hell. I gave this 3 stars. I don't know if I wasn't supposed to understand it or if I just didn't understand it. It probably didn't help that I read this in, like, there was a lot of space in between. I was just kind of confused. I would like to think I could read stuff like that and, like, understand. I can't, though. It's not my thing. So, it was good. I enjoyed it. There was, like, I liked some of the quotes and whatnot, so 3 stars. I couldn't tell if I was supposed to be confused or if I was just confused, so. Okay. Next we have a poetry collection, Terminal Moraine by Ian. I can't see his last name on this picture. Goodreads has. But this was by a Canadian author. It was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be a 5-star in, like, the first half. I really liked the first half, or the first section. And then I didn't like the second and third sections as much, so I gave it a 4-star. Like, all of my favorite poems were in the front section. But yeah, it was pretty good. It talked about a lot of different things. There wasn't really a particular topic. Like, it's not a topical poetry collection. And yeah, it was good. It was good poetry. And then next we have Brave New World, which I don't have with me. My partner is currently borrowing Terminal Moraine because I wanted him to read it, and then Brave New World because he wanted to read it, and then Season in Hell is his. So they're currently all at my partner's house. He started Brave New World and he's enjoying it. I also enjoyed the first 100 pages, and then I didn't like the second half as much. Like, it's good. I think it should be read. However, I don't like it when any book, but particularly, like, books that are clearly critiques of things, like, of society, like, goes into, like, a chapter that just explains the whole thing. I'm like, I've been reading the book, I know, right? And I did a whole rant about Brave New World in my weekish reading vlog. So, 3 stars. Wasn't horrible. You should read it. Like, it has inherent value, but it wasn't my thing. Was not my thing. Okay, so now we're going to get into books I have read and have physically. So we have Love and Other Anxieties by Carlin Villa. It was okay. I gave it 4 stars because, like, I really felt like I could feel what she did with the writing process. I will be unhauling it, though, because I'm not going to reread it. Like, I'm not going to return to any of it, and it's not really my friend's things, and I think, I think she's indie published, or they're indie published. Yeah, they're indie published, so, like, sometimes having things go to different stores and have people find them, like, that's how I found it, and she has another 4-star rating on Goodreads. But yeah, I don't feel the need to keep it, so I'm gonna unhaul it. It was good. It follows kind of a relationship she had and stuff like that. I mean, it was good. Like, it's solid poetry collection, that's about it. Moving on. Break Your Glass Slippers by Amanda Lovelace. 3 stars. Like, this type of poetry just is not my thing. And, like, it's not even, like, short form poetry. That's not my thing. But, like, just generally, because I write short form poetry, it's just, anyway. This just wasn't my thing. Had I read this in September or end of August, you betcha, would have been a 5. Just because I was going through a very similar situation. And I think it's great for that. But I'm not in this situation. So basically, this is, like, supposed to be, like, a retelling, poetically, of Cinderella. But it's, like, for the first section, you have, like, what the princess is thinking, and then, like, what the fairy godmother is saying, or whatever, in response. Like, it's interesting. It's an interesting premise. And yeah, it just follows a relationship that goes bad. Like they do. There were some good ones that I liked. I liked a lot of what the fairy godmother was saying, more so than what the princess was singing. But yeah, I mean, 3 stars isn't bad. Like, it's average. It was okay. So I will be unhauling this though. Back to Village you go. But yeah. Okay. Next up, we have a 4-star, and that is How It Feels to Float by Helena Fox. I thought this was going to be 5-star for about the first 100 pages, and, like, I really did enjoy it. It reminded me of a lot of things from Everything Beautiful Is Not Ruined. I did a whole video comparing and talking about them both in depth, so if you'd like to know more, check that out. But this follows Biz and her journey with mental health struggles after her dad dies, and it's very interestingly written. I mean, it's like almost 400 pages, and I read it in like 3 days, so very much enjoyed this. 4 stars. It was a good, it was a solid book. It was a good book. And my friend would like to borrow it, so I'm going to let my friend borrow this, but then I will ask for it back, because I would like to keep this on my red shelf. Okay. So next we have a 5-star, and that is Animal Farm by George Orwen. I've not read George Orwen before this. I found this at Value Village, got it on a whim because I heard it's good. George Orwen, classic. It's very literal. It's well, the whole thing is it's funny because the whole thing is like a metaphor, but it's a very literal version of that. They call each other comrade. We know what it's about. And I think it was very good. I loved it. I enjoyed it. And I love being able to post on Facebook that I was reading Animal Communism by the River. Like, it was my favorite thing. I really enjoyed this. I really, really enjoyed this. And I think it's, particularly when you look at America. That's my timer. Update, guys. I don't have COVID. Woot, woot. That's really good. Fun. There you go. Spoiler for the end of the video is Emma does not have COVID. Fun times. Anyway, back to Animal Communism. I think a lot of, like, I believe George Orwell is British. Don't come for me if he's not. But I believe, like, the American critique of communism is, and frankly, any leftist political view is not thought out, in my opinion, like, as a political science student. Like, it's not actually explored correctly. It's not, like, fully thought out, and I felt like Animal Farm, like, did a good job of being like, hey, like, the system, like, the farmers are still in the wrong here. Like, it's not saying, oh, well, we might as well stick with the farmers because everything else turns out badly. Like, it's saying, like, everyone's at fault here. Like, power will corrupt people and pigs. But yeah, no, I think it was great. I loved it. It's a 5-star. My favorite classic thus far. So very fun. Now I gotta check what I rate this because I don't know if I rated it a 3 or 4. But this is the last book I finished. And I rated it a 3. So this is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I forgot how to read there for a second. And this is a dual POV. One of the POVs is a podcast, which I really loved. That was I enjoyed that. I didn't like Sadie's POV for about the first 150 pages, and this is only a 300-page book. So for the first half of the book, I didn't really like Sadie's POV. I don't know, I think it might have been the writing style. It just was not clicking right with me. Hold it and frame him. And like, it wasn't working for me, but I loved the podcast parts, and that's why I didn't DNF it. And then as the Sadie part got, like, closer to the end, I really enjoyed that. I hated the ending. I thought it was, you just didn't, I'm not going to spoil it, but the ending was BS, in my opinion. Like, it felt cheap. Like, it felt like, and I knew it was going to happen. It felt cheap. It felt cheap. That's what I'm going to say. But basically, Sadie is missing after they find her sister murdered. She goes missing a bit later, and this podcast is trying to find her, and then you're following Sadie basically where she went. And yeah, that is what I read in May. I guess I started the next wave in April, but I continued that. I did not finish it though, and now that's on hold or on pause until after whatever-a-thon. Same with Where the Dead Sit Talking. I thought I could read that, but then I got into a reading slump at the end of the month, and I started listening to State of Terror for a book club thing I'm for a podcast I listen to, which I'm gonna probably complete, but I won't add it to my whatever-a-thon TBR thing because I started it before. But yeah, that's the situation. If you would like to read my thoughts and my rating and judge me, the Goodreads and the buy link for my first collection is in the description below. If you would like to keep up to date with me, you can go like my author page on Facebook, which is also in the description below. And other than that, I hope you're having a great day. Bye.